Welcome, my friends, to a place where the darkness whispers and the unknown beckons. I'm your host, Sam, and tonight we're venturing into the cold, unforgiving depths of the earth. But what lurks within these subterranean labyrinths? Tonight we explore three chilling tales of unexplained phenomena in deep caves, each more unsettling than the last. Are you brave enough to delve into the darkness? Turn off the lights, lock your doors, and huddle close, my friends. Our first descent takes us deep into the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, a region riddled with caverns and unsettling folklore. It was here, in the echoing darkness of an unnamed cave, that a group of experienced spelunkers encountered something they couldn't explain. The team, led by the seasoned Dr. Lewis, had meticulously planned their expedition. Armed with maps, high-powered lamps, and years of combined experience, they descended into the earth with an almost scientific curiosity. The air grew thick with the smell of damp earth, and the silence was broken only by the rhythmic drip of water. They had been exploring for hours when a faint glow, emanating from the depths of a newly discovered tunnel, caught Dr. Lewis's eye. It pulsed softly, an ethereal luminescence that seemed to beckon them forward. Intrigued, the team cautiously approached, their lights cutting through the oppressive darkness. As they drew closer, the glow intensified, revealing the silhouette of a humanoid figure. It appeared slender, almost frail, bathed in an otherworldly light that shimmered and danced in the darkness. A collective gasp escaped the group. Was it a trick of the light, a hallucination brought on by the oxygen-deprived air? Dr. Lewis urged caution. They inched closer, their lamps trained on the glowing figure, but as they did, it seemed to glide further into the darkness, always just out of reach. Hours melted into an endless procession of twisting tunnels and echoing chambers, the glowing figure their only guide. The spelunkers, their initial curiosity giving way to a primal dread, pressed on, their resolve crumbling with every step. The darkness felt heavier now, alive, as if the very walls were watching their every move. And then, as abruptly as it had appeared, the figure vanished. One moment it was there, a beacon in the suffocating darkness. The next it was gone, leaving the team stranded in a labyrinth of cold, unyielding stone. Panic threatened to consume them. They were lost, hopelessly turned around, their maps useless in this alien landscape. For days they wandered, their supplies dwindling, their hope fading with each passing hour. Just when their spirits reached their lowest point, they stumbled upon a glimmer of light, a way out. Their rescue was hailed as a miracle, their story dismissed as a hallucination, a byproduct of exhaustion and oxygen deprivation. Our next tale takes us to the desolate plains of Nevada, where the air hangs heavy with the ghosts of boomtowns past, and the earth whispers tales of greed, desperation, and a hunger that lingers beyond the grave. Here, beneath the unforgiving sun, lies the entrance to the Iron Heart Mine, a place forever scarred by tragedy and consumed by an unsettling darkness. Once a bustling hive of activity, the Iron Heart Mine had fallen silent decades ago, a victim of a catastrophic collapse that claimed the lives of dozens of miners. Now all that remained were crumbling wooden structures, rusted machinery, and a silence so profound it felt like a living presence. Locals spoke of the mine in hushed tones, their words laced with fear and superstition. They claimed that the spirits of the miners, their souls tethered to the site of their demise, still roamed the depths, their anguished cries echoing through the tunnels. Most dismissed these stories as folklore, the ramblings of superstitious minds. But there were some drawn to the macabre who dared to venture into the heart of the Iron Heart Mine, hoping to catch a glimpse of the spectral miners or hear their mournful whispers. Among them was a group of paranormal investigators led by the renowned Dr. Emily Carter. Dr. Carter, a woman of science and unwavering skepticism, saw the Iron Heart Mine as an opportunity to debunk the myths and legends that clung to it like cobwebs. Armed with an array of sophisticated equipment designed to detect fluctuations in electromagnetic fields and record EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, they descended into the mine, their headlamps cutting through the oppressive darkness. The air was thick with the smell of dust and decay, the silence broken only by the crunch of their boots on the uneven ground. As they ventured deeper, the darkness seemed to press in, suffocating, as if the mine itself was trying to expel them from its depths. And then they heard it. A faint whisper carried on the stale air, barely audible above the rhythmic beeping of their equipment. It seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves, a low, mournful moan that sent shivers down their spines. Dr. Carter, her pulse quickening despite her skepticism, adjusted her headphones and motioned for the team to proceed with caution. They entered a cavern, its ceiling held aloft by rotting wooden beams that groaned under the weight of the mountain above. The air hung heavy here, thick with an unseen energy that made the hairs on their arms stand on end, and it was here that the whispers intensified, transforming into a chorus of disembodied voices, their words indecipherable yet undeniably filled with anguish and despair. The team fanned out, their equipment humming, their eyes scanning the darkness for any sign of movement. Suddenly, one of the investigators, a young man named Mark, froze, his eyes wide with terror. He pointed a trembling finger towards the far end of the cavern, where a shadowy figure seemed to materialize from the darkness. It was tall and gaunt, its form indistinct, yet radiating an aura of profound sadness and anger. The figure moved with an unnatural fluidity, gliding effortlessly over the uneven ground, its eyes, two glowing embers in the darkness, fixed on Mark. Our final descent takes us to the dense emerald embrace of the Amazon rainforest, a place teeming with life, yet harboring secrets as ancient and impenetrable as the jungle itself. Here, shrouded in a mist-wreathed canopy and whispered about in hushed tones by indigenous tribes, lies the entrance to the labyrinth of shadows, a cave system as alluring as it is deadly. The native tribes, for generations, had spoken of the cave with a mixture of reverence and fear. They believed it to be a living entity, a place of immense power that could shift and change at will, trapping the unwary within its depths. Legends spoke of explorers, their minds addled by the cave's strange energy, wandering in circles for days, their maps rendered useless by the ever-changing passages. Most dismissed these stories as myths, the product of overactive imaginations, but there were others, driven by a thirst for adventure or a desire to unravel the mysteries of the unknown, who dared to venture into the labyrinth of shadows, never to be seen again. Among them was a renowned cartographer named Daniel Blackwood, a man obsessed with mapping the uncharted corners of the world. Blackwood, armed with the latest surveying equipment and a team of seasoned explorers, set out to create the first comprehensive map of the labyrinth of shadows, determined to conquer its secrets and prove the legends false. The entrance to the cave was concealed behind a curtain of emerald vines, its maw gaping like a serpent's mouth, ready to swallow them whole. The air hung heavy with the smell of damp earth, and the cacophony of the jungle seemed to fade as they crossed the threshold, replaced by an eerie silence. Blackwood, his heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and apprehension, activated his GPS tracker and began meticulously charting their progress. The passages were narrow and winding, the air thick with humidity. Strange bioluminescent fungi clung to the walls, casting an eerie, otherworldly glow that danced in the darkness. As they ventured deeper, Blackwood noticed something peculiar. The air seemed to grow heavy, charged with a strange energy that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. He checked his compass, his brow furrowing in confusion. The needle spun erratically, no longer pointing north. He dismissed it as a technical malfunction, but a growing unease settled over him. They continued for hours, the passages twisting and turning, seemingly at random. Blackwood meticulously marked their route, yet he couldn't shake the feeling that they were traveling in circles, trapped in a labyrinth of their own making. And then the cave began to shift. At first it was subtle, a barely perceptible tremor that rippled through the stone walls. But as they pressed on, the tremors intensified, the ground beneath their feet groaning and swaying. The air grew thick with the smell of ozone, and the bioluminescent fungi pulsed with an unnatural intensity, casting grotesque shadows that danced and writhed on the cave walls. Panic seized the team. They were trapped, lost in a labyrinth that seemed to have a mind of its own. The darkness of the caves, my friends, holds more than just cold stone and echoing silence. It holds the weight of untold stories, of mysteries that may never see the light of day. But remember, as you drift off to sleep, that the line between reality and nightmare is thin, especially when darkness surrounds you. What lurks in the shadows, unseen, unheard, what whispers your name from the depths. Until next time, keep your lights on and your doors locked. Sweet dreams, if you dare.